What's up, YouTube? Georgia Silver Hunter back, and today we'll be hunting a box of Brinks wrapped half dollars from, I say our local Fifth Third. This is actually a box that I was able to pick up from my local Kroger that has a Fifth Third bank inside of it. So I've already actually opened the box to check to make sure we had circulated coins. Now we do have a lot of the newer designs, but we do have plenty of older designs as well. So hopefully we have a nice circulated box in here. I'm really looking forward to getting into these. It's been a little while since I've hunted a full box of nickels. We will also be doing an album fill. This will go into our hunt and fill series. So, you know, at the end of the video, we'll take a look at the books and see what we can fill in. We're really only missing a few coins from the 40s and 50s. Other than that, it's just proofs. Hopefully, we'll also find some buffaloes, and if we get really lucky, maybe even some V nickels. So I'm looking forward to it. So let's jump in. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open one roll on camera and just see if we find anything old or interesting. In nickel hunts, we're pretty much looking for anything older than 1960. That's considered a find, so our 50s, our 40s, our 30s. And then once you get inside the 30s, you're really looking for your buffalo nickels. And when you get earlier than that, you're looking for your V nickels. Something else to keep in mind, if you didn't know, is that from 1942 to 1945, they took all the copper out of our nickels for the war. They needed it to make bullets and bulletproof vests and all that kind of good stuff. And so they replaced that copper with silver. So those 42 through 45, they're made of 35% silver. So we're always on the hunt for those. That's old, but it's just a 64. This 2005, it's one of the new Buffalo nickels. It's not the old ones. And there is a like a die crack on this one, and it's tough to see without putting it under the scope. I'll check that out a little bit later, and if I happen to find one, which I never have, I'll be sure to bring you guys in. I'm just going to do this first roll on camera, and then I'll go off camera and hunt until I find something, and I will bring you in. With that, I do have a document in the description down below this video, and it's actually in the description of all my coin roll hunts. And that document is free for you to download and use, but it has all of the coins that I hunt, no matter the denomination. So if you want to download that and see why I'm making, you know, which coins I'm looking for and maybe why I'm making a big deal out of some of these coins, feel free to go down and get that document. So far, this is a lot of new coins and not anything too interesting. And this is also not the wounded buffalo. So I'm going to run off camera and I'll bring you guys in as soon as we find something interesting. Well, it looks like I may have opened the wrong roll first, because just like 3, 4, 5 coins in, we've got an old one. I've actually already looked at the date, but this is how it came up originally. It is a Philadelphia, and it is a 1949. First 40s on the box. We're on roll number 4, and we have our next find. It is, let's see here, we're in real close, a 1953, looks like a Denver. We're all the way up here in roll 10, and I'm bringing you in not for a great find, but I had to actually look at it for a while to figure out what it was. It is a really, really beat up Canadian 1987, I think, nickel. I really did. I picked it up and had no idea what it was, but first foreign on the box, and it is an ugly one. We're on roll 11, and we've got our next find, and it's got some gunk on it, but it is another 50s nickel, a 1957 Philly. We're on roll 14. We got our next find. It is, and no, it didn't come up this way. It was really more like that, but I turned it around to make it easier to read. For those of you that wondered. This was a 1951. Now, I haven't seen the reverse, so I don't know if we're doing a Philly or a Denver. Let's check it out. Ooh, we got a San Francisco. That's pretty cool. I did not expect that. I don't believe there's any varieties on that, but pretty cool. I might have to check that against my books, because I don't think I find too many 51S's. That is just pretty cool. Okay, so I wasn't excited enough about this 1951S, because I put it down and then checked my cheat sheet, because as I said when I found it, I don't find a lot of these, so I didn't really give it a whole lot of thought. Well, this is a semi-key date nickel, because it is extremely, extremely low mintage. So I checked my book, and it is also going to be a book filler for me. So this is a really great find, and I did pull out my red book. I did want to show you guys like the 1951, 28 million, the 51D, 20 million, the 51S. We are at 7.776 million. Now, granted, you know, mine's not MS60, so it's not even worth $2. So we're not talking like a super high dollar coin here, but it is a semi-key date. And I would say pretty hard to find with less than 8 million of them ever made. So very same roll as our 1951S, and this is how it came up. I did already look at the date. That's how I knew to pull you in. But we are looking at a 1946, so another 40s era nickel. Next roll, roll 15. We have our next find, and it's another 40s nickel. And it looks a lot like the last one we found, a 1946. Did we get another Philly? No, this time we have a Denver. So we're up here on roll 19, and we've come across our next 40s nickel, and it is a 1948, and I went ahead and checked, and this could get real exciting here in a second. If this is a 48S, this would be our second semi-key date on the hunt. Let's check it out. And it's a Philly. We are deep into this hunt. Roll 32. We have our next find, and it's potentially an interesting one. We've got ourselves a 1955. And I believe the 55 Philly is a semi-key date, so let's check it out. And unfortunately, it is the Denver. Now, this nickel has definitely seen better days, but we'll hang on to it. So we're going to roll 41, and we have our next find. It is a 50s nickel, and I think it's the third one of these we've found in this hunt. It's a pretty clean one. It's a 1957. Looks like a Denver. 3 for the board. So we have the, I guess, earliest or newest of the finds for this hunt. We've got a 1958. This one also is in pretty darn good shape. And this one is a Denver as well. Roll 42, and we got all the way to the very end, and we ended up coming up with a 1947. Looks like we have ourselves a 47 Philly. We're on roll 44, and we have our next find. It is a 1954. Let's check it out here together. If we can get it to focus, we have ourselves a 1954 Denver. On roll 45, and we got something we haven't seen before. This came up, and I was like, what in the world is that? It's some sort of fishy nickel. 5-cent piece, 2003. And looks like it is from Bermuda. Elizabeth II on it. Pretty cool. Never found one of those before, I don't think. Okay, so bringing it in here for the wrap-up. We didn't have a ton of finds, but we did have one good one, and we'll talk about it here in a second. But starting over here on the left, we did have kind of maybe a first find. I don't remember getting one of these before, but it's this 2003 Bermuda 5-cent piece. Pretty cool. I'll be hanging on to that. We had this really, really beat up 1987 Canadian nickel, which that's going to probably get re-rolled. We did have 1, 2, 3 46s. We had 2 47s, a 48. This 51S we'll get back to. We had a 53, a 54, a 1955. It's a Denver. Too bad it wasn't that Philly key date. That would have been exciting. We did have 3 57s. I didn't bring you in for all of them, and that really ugly one in the back is definitely going back to the bank. And we had a single 58. So with that said, let's spend just a minute looking at this 51S going into the book. So here we are. We've got our 1938 to 2003, and I did put the extra pages in it. I never remember how far it goes. I think I have it up to 2022 here in the book because, like I said, I did buy a couple extra pages. They weren't too expensive. I want to say like $6 or $7 a piece. But this 1951S that we found in the hunt, just to remind you guys, we did talk about it. It might be too far away for you to see it, but 7.776 million, making it a semi-key date. I want to say it's one of the the third lowest mintage outside of maybe some of the proofs that we'll be looking for. And as you can see, the hole here, we definitely need that 1951S. So I'm excited to be slotting that in. And it's going to go right in there. We're going to cover it right back up. And away we go. So we are still looking for that 50D, the 49S. Three of them prior to the war nickels. We do need 4 of the war nickels, and then outside of that, it's pretty much just proofs. So I'm going to consider this book done. And hopefully I'll just start getting on lucky proof dumps for nickels, but I'm not really too hopeful about it. It'd be nice if it happened, though. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, drop on down below, click that like button, leave me a comment. If you're new to the channel and you like coin roll hunts, make sure you click that subscribe button, click that little bell, and select all so you get notified each and every time I release a new video. I will have the full playlist to this linked at the end of the video, so make sure you check that out from the very beginning if you're interested. And a special thanks to all my channel members who I'll throw up on the screen here now. Thank you guys for your support. With that said, you guys all take care, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.